Hey, what is up, guys? It's Drunk here. Just hopped on, decided to play with DFO today, and currently I am on my Raven, who has become my main character here. Currently, just doing a bit of the, a bit of the daily hassle going through. Currently, we're gonna sign into a bit of TOD. TOD is basically, it's a system that's been in the game for ages, which allows you to climb a tower full of overpowered enemies, essentially, in which you have to clear out 100 floors of it to get a thing called a Seal of Despair, in which you use to trade that plus 5 million gold for essentially a free epic without any farming. Again, most you have to farm is this tower here. It's very worth it system with the Explorer system. In now you can rack up to, I think, about 4 entries of it. Don't quote me on that. But I believe you can get up to 4 entries into the tower. Only 1 per character, though, 4 across your account. But if you have Neo Premium Plus, or if you just get this from casually going through the game, you will have something known as Simona's Letter of Recommendation, and you just go ahead and use it once you've cleared, and then you can immediately go to the next floor of the Tower of Despair. TOD. Clear it out again, and that gets you there in roughly 50 days if you only use 1 of them a day. You'll climb the tower in 50 days. You'll bound to have enough cash by the end of it to get the epic, because you do get a substantial amount of gear out of this. It's all garbage, really, but you can sell it off for basically just to, get disassembler materials. You can get some cash out of it if you go ahead and just choose to sell it instead. As you can see here, I struggled a bit with this guy, but I just took him out with a multi-headshot there. But that's really all there is to TOD. It's been in for a while, so it's been pretty static in the game, and recently there was kind of a fuss over whether they were going to remove it or not. Just like this area right here, known as Dark Elf Ruins, it's an area that'll actually be getting removed rather soon, which is kind of a bummer, seeing as it's been kind of a really helpful thing to most players in the game. It's led to a lot of them being able to collect these things here, these weekly challenge tokens, because on Sundays, the term coined by AegisRick, Psycho Sundays, you basically just clear the Dark Elf Ruins once, and once you do that, you can go ahead and you claim 2 of these weekly challenge tokens, and you can use 1 per pot at Serious Shop, and you are able to obtain card pots, in which you have a pretty high chance of getting uniques and rares, which you can either sell or use for your gear yourself. So it's honestly a really useful system. As you can see here, I've just decided to pop into my scenario quests. Even though I'm max level, I've got quite a few scenarios to go. I'm actually still in the Valley of the Half-Breeds stuff with Graggle, so it's a bit of a mess with this guy. He was hella boosted by the Golden Pill event that we had last year. It's like way earlier last year. There was an event where you basically just had to have 1 level 80 character on your account, and you were given a pill to level another character to 80 instantly. This guy was a level 23 at the time, and I just popped it on him, boosted him to level 80. It's not a decision I regret, actually. At first I did a lot because I didn't really have the needed expertise to play him to get his second awakening done, but I bullshitted it through having event potions, a lot of Sarah-bot life tokens, shamefully, and yeah, I ended up bullshitting his way to his second awakening, in which it brought the class to new light. Seriously, don't quit on this guy if you're stuck in that whole desperado sort of area, that lull area with him, sort of towards Second Awakening, because he's a pain in the ass to get through the Second Awakening because he's so weak, but he's also got to be so close out of all the gunners. But he really is a fun class to play. And as you can see here, there's no boss except this little dust monster thing, which is part of the current event, the Blazing Laundromat event, which basically you can trade in old avatars to get a Power Rangers outfit from the old AegisRick set. Yeah, other than that, the current events are going on. We've got these sheriff badges here, which are basically just little currency things for the Hilltown event, which there's a review of that I'll link in the description. And then there's the it's called Epic Road. We've got a return of Epic Road to this as well. It's all right. It's nothing too spectacular, I'd say, but you know, you can't really say it's not that. You can't really say it's not worth it, as it's a free epic essentially. You just have to go through and clear it a few times. So really, it's worth it to do. This guy isn't strong enough to do it yet, but unfortunately, I redeemed my invitations on him. I have to clear it 100 times, and you only get 10 times a day, and there's only like 5 days of the event left, so I ballsed it up on that one, but yeah, it's alright. I'm sure they'll be bringing Epic Road back. They did it back whenever the Lancers came out for the first time, the Skirmisher and the Vanguard, their first awakenings. Immediately they brought in Epic Road, so most people went through there on their Lancers. A bunch of people ended up with, you know, some of the best in slot gear still to this point, but I'm sure that'll be changed with the release of the new Lancers. And insert the memes here now, delete Lancer, as they're adding a whole new other 2 Lancer-based weapons into the epic pool, which will infuriate the masses. Great fun. So yes, anyways, there's not a lot going on. There's the release of the new Knight classes, which is coming pretty soon, actually, and that's some hella hype right there. I'm definitely excited to get Paladin more over Dragon Knight. I feel like Paladin's been the more anticipated class rather than Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight looks a lot of fun. She looks like she's hella smooth, but she also looks like she has very little impact to her skills, and that's kind of a shame, because I really do like my classes that have nice impact with their skills, and they've got, you know, you can really feel the attacks, like this guy with the sudden death system. I think it's called Death by Revolver. Not sudden death. But with that system, you can see like the impact of each move as you see those little red skulls burst above their head, dealing crit damage. It's honestly, it's kind of a pretty badass feeling when you see that, and you get that whole screen shaking impact of using this. Another thing to bring up about this guy is the weapon I'm using right now. If you've ever played Ranger before, you'll know that the headshot doesn't usually do that. This is a special weapon I've got equipped right now. It's a legendary called Distorted Space Bullet, and you get it from Anton Raid, or you can get it off the market. I think whenever I bought mine, it was about 7.5 mil. So it's definitely not a cheap weapon. It's a level 85 legendary, though, and it does hella damage, especially if you make your build really pretty much around just using headshot and stuff like that. You will end up wiping the floor with most enemies just because of your single target damage being just jacked so high by the fact that you're constantly dishing out fire. Plus, this guy has almost unrivalable single target attack, and as you can see, I just got my ass kicked here by Nornal. It's kind of shameful, but yeah, that's really there's all to say about this weapon. I've from the Hilltown event, actually, I just recently got a 100% +7 reinforcement card for it, so I immediately notched that onto it. But really, other than that, there's not much to go over about the weapon. It's a really useful weapon if you really don't want to spend your time hunting for an epic if it's not your main, or if you just don't feel like any of the epics at the time you can get are really worth it, I definitely suggest picking it up. And I mean, it's suited me all the way through level 90. So as you can see, it's definitely not a bad weapon. But that's really all I had to go over. Just wanted to show a bit of DFO content and show off my male ranger. He's definitely a lot of fun. I suggest this class to... I wouldn't say if I suggest it to the people who are brand new to the game, as he's kind of got a lot of nuances about him, and you have to build him a certain way. He's also a really weak class when it comes into, like, really close quarters combat. You get stuck, you're kind of fucked over at that point. So definitely, if you're more of an intermediate player, I suggest picking up this this guy. He's a pretty fun class to play. Also, just bring up my pet here. This is the apprentice pet. He's a little male knight. He's honestly one of the coolest and cutest looking little pets. He was brought around during the apprentice event, and damn, look at him. He's just so cute. Anyways, that's all for me, guys. Catch you guys